Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. Let's do a monster review in Monster Strike, and it's been a little while since I've done one of these. The last one was maybe Sandalphon or Monster Rose, but this is for Seimei, and this is one of my most favorite characters in the game. I probably mentioned this in some other video, but if I ever did a ranking of like top 10 coolest guys, Seimei would definitely be on there. And actually, let's look at his old versions first. He's kind of a popular figure in Japanese history. Some people call him the Japanese Merlin, kind of like an advisor to like kings or whatever Japan had back then, and maybe like mystical or magical powers. And yeah, he looks pretty cool here. And then the evolution version is a bounce with Minesweeper Null Warp, which was pretty rare when he came out, and he was useful in a few quests. And then the Ascension was the one that I used more often. This guy was a Pierce with a Null Gravity Barrier, and then the Demon's Bane, which is Mancer Slayer and Demon Slayer in one. And he was very useful for the Murasame and the Muramasa quests. Also, you could use him in Yomi. Actually, I used him in Tsukuyomi a lot. And then he had the Delay Strike Shot, which is very useful. I got lots of use out of this guy, and both versions as well. He was super helpful. And so yeah, I'm very excited about this Transcendent form. And then this is based on the evolution, so he's another bounce with Minesweeper and Null Warp. But he has Minesweeper M, which doubles his attack every time he picks up a mine. If we look at his stats, pretty solid overall. HP is a tank level status at over 24,000. Attack is a little bit low at 22, but he does have the Minesweeper M, and then he also has a Slayer, which we'll talk about in a second. And then speed is respectable at 355. Also a new ability, he has Dark Resistance, and this is a pretty rare ability for either light or dark monsters to have, is that resistance. Because in their opposite quests, they get elemental advantage to their attack, but they also take more damage. So to have that elemental resistance kind of removes their only elemental disadvantage that they have in any element. So that's very, very cool. And actually, for all light and dark monsters, I kind of recommend Survivor, just so you can get around that double-edged sword. But since he has the Dark Resistance already, you can get away without a Survivor Ableberry and be just fine in Dark Quests. Or you could put a Survivor Ableberry on him anyway, and then those effects will stack with each other, and then give you even more protection. And then, another new ability, he has the Light Slayer. This is, I think, a first on a light character. Usually you see like a Dark Slayer on them. But this will make him extra good in light quests. Probably Daikokuten and Izanagi, and then Izanagi Zero. Those are the best examples. Although I suppose you could use him in Apocalypse. And then also you can use him in the Kinki no Goku Secret Stage for Setsuna. Those are all light monsters in there, so he would be great in there. And then his gimmicks are also perfect for that mission. So yes, they very much had that in mind when they made him. So yeah, having the Slayer and also the Minesweeper will really help his kind of low-ish attack. And then that's not all. He's got good bump combos as well. He's got the Star Laser L and then the Energy Burst 5. And that's kind of cool because Seimei in history, he's kind of known for having a symbol like symbolizing him, which is like looks like a pentagram. And you can also see that in the evolution version here. And so yeah, to have the Star Laser and then the Energy Burst 5, which explodes like on the 5 points, that's really, really cool. Very thematically in line with him. And it also ends up being a very strong bump combo. I saw a bunch of JP players trying him out, and they're like, whoa, this bump combo is actually strong. But I wasn't surprised. I knew Star Laser was strong ever since Kine had it, and then what's his face? Hendrickson also had it. It's a strong bump combo. and easy to use because it kind of, rather than an energy circle, it kind of fills the area around him. And then, of course, Energy Burst is really good. And then 5 is, I would say, quite a bit better than 4. With the Energy Burst 4, there's kind of a lot of space in between all of the 4 bursts. So it's kind of hard to aim it. But with 5, you can sort of rely on it better, just because there's less empty space. And then you have the Star Laser filling in even more gaps. So it's a very nice bump combo combination, I would say. It is somewhere in between short to medium range, so it's not going to do good long range. So that makes it a little bit difficult to use, but if you can get him like inside a little pack of enemies, then it can do good damage, really good damage. And he also has bump combo critical, which is pretty crazy. So then Sidekick, that Ableberry would be excellent for him, I think. And then the Strike Shot, also based on the evolution form. This is where he shoots out the Poison Cloud. The old version, it lasted for 3 turns, and then it did 700,000 damage every turn, so 2.1 million in all. The first tier, the 20-turn version, that also lasts for 3 turns, but it does 1 million damage per turn. So in all, that's 3 million, so that's almost 1 million more than the previous version. And then the 25 turn version lasts for 4 turns and then does 1.25 million per turn. So that will be 5 million damage in all. That's crazy. This is really strong, except it has a number of disadvantages to it. One is that it's kind of semi-short range, so if your positioning is bad, you may not be able to use it when you want to. 2, it does take those 3 or 4 turns to get the damage out, and so that means you want to use the Strike Shot as early as possible on the stage that you're on. So that could mean that putting a Strike Case Ableberry on him could be a good idea. But usually, since you're waiting for that last stage, that's when the boss has the most HP anyway. Probably, maybe you won't need the Strike Case. It's an advantage and a disadvantage. The advantage is that it's set damage, so it won't be affected by like defense up or attack down or whatever. So you can use it like that to cut through defenses or debuffs on yourself. And then for earlier missions, this is going to be really powerful. But the later missions, the more recent missions that we've seen, especially where you need to get like physical, like direct attacks in, and you get a very high multiplier to that. Bosses will have like 50 or like 100 million HP or something. So then in that case, the poison bump combos, or poison strike shot, is not going to be useful. I think somebody pointed out that for Naraku, the boss of the level 15 of the Kinki no Goku, you would need 10 Seimeis and then 40 turns in order to take down the last boss, last stage of the boss with that poison damage. So yeah, in that case, it's not going to be very viable. But probably they will make high-level quests with Seimei in mind, so they might stick more to the defense up and then have like a regular amount of HP on the boss or something. But yeah, we'll see how he does in the future. And then as for high-level quests he is good for now, it's not a ton. Let's see, Daikokuten, that's the big one. Izanagi 0. He gets the Slayer and all of those. You can also use him in Doom. And then, of course, level 15 of the Kinki no Goku, and then the secret stage of Setsuna. But for like extreme quests and super extreme quests, like Uncle and stuff, he'll be really, really strong. His bump combo especially is going to be really good in there. But yeah, let's look in the box, and then let's look at other characters that are bounce with null warp and then deals with mine somehow. So yeah, not a whole ton. As for other Hatcher monsters, there is Meliodas, but he's limited time, so that's no longer available. Meliodas has been excellent for me though, so I expect Seimei to kind of be as excellent. Otherwise, here is Columbus, although I've never seen anybody use this guy. He's got very low stats and then a blast bump, or a blast type bump combo, which is not very strong. So I don't think we need to worry about him. Here is Choun, who absolutely everybody forgot about until level 15 of the Kinki no Goku came out. And then he became like one of the best characters, or he is the best character for that. And then as for the two characters compared with each other, Seimei and then this guy, if you're thinking about just the level 15, then this guy's going to be better. And the reason for that is because of the delay strike shot. The delay strike shot is very, very useful in that stage. But if you did not have this guy, you could certainly bring Seimei, and then that would be very useful for you, I think. And then one thing about Seimei, though, is that his strike shot, the poison, if you use multiples of those, if you have multiple Seimeis and they all use their poison strike shots all one after another, they will not stack with each other, and then they will not all happen together. So you can't get like 2 or 3 poison damages at once, and then you can't extend it to like 12 turns. Once one poison is in there, any other poison after that will overwrite that one, I believe. So if you do use Seimei, you're probably only going to use one of them at a time, if you are meaning to use their strike shot. If you're using them for their bump combos, then it can be worth using a few of them together. And then if you had a couple of Seimei, and you were thinking about keeping one of them in the Ascension form, just because their ability set is so different, I would say go ahead and make multiple of the Transcendent. Don't worry about hanging on to this Ascension, because there are plenty of other light and then dark, pierce, null gravity barrier characters, I think, to fill that void. But continuing on, looking at who else is in there, here's Rosa. She's pretty cool because she has recovery, and then also the reveals the weak points, but she's not a good damage source herself. We also got Royce. He's still very good. One advantage that Seimei has over Royce is that Seimei has a Minesweeper, so you can pick up the mines. So there is that. Basically, this is still kind of a niche, which has not really been filled too much yet. And then as for what I have, I'm still pretty low on bounce characters with that double null, so yeah. I got Chohi, Seimei, Meledos, and that's it, as far as Hatcher monsters. So yeah, for me, he was really, really good get to have. But yeah, that is how that is looking. And then now let's go to a quest and then see how Seimei performs. Okay, since everybody and their mother took Seimei to Daikokuten to show off his usability, I'm going to bring him to Doom just to show a different side of him. We're not going to see his Light Slayer and his Dark Resistance in action, but we can still look at him, like his bump combo and his strike shot, so should still be useful. Gimmicks here, there are lots of gimmicks, mines, warps, and damage walls. Oh, and the mines are the stick-on mines, so flight is not going to be useful. So in that sense, Seimei is a better choice than, like, say, Royce in this mission. And the other characters that I'm using, first is Dead Rabbits. I got fairly recently, and they have been awesome because I don't have a lot of wood characters that are bounced with Minesweeper, so I really needed them. They also have a null everything, not null everything, but null damage wall, null mine strike shot, just like Hanzo. So they can be useful here for that too. And then next up I'm using Gabrielle Ascension. I still prefer this version over the Evolution version. And she may get a Transcendent form this year sometime. Maybe X-Flag Park, which is the end of this month, I think. maybe the 5-year anniversary, which is in August, I think. But we'll see. And then finally, let's bring Naraku. This will be kind of like a bonus monster review for this video. But she's another bounce with a Minesweeper Null Warp, and then she is the drop that you get for clearing all of the missions, all of the levels of the Kinki no Goku. And then, yes, I have not advanced past the first level of the Kinki no Goku. I've definitely put it very low on my to-do list. But yeah, I was talking about sort of playing the game a little bit less, and then the Kinki no Goku was announced. And I was like, no, that's not going to convince me to come back, so. But thankfully, the character was in the friends list, so I can kind of show her off here. I did talk about her in a previous video, but she has a new bump combo, the, I forget what you call it, but it's like a shotgun where all the shots go out into one direction, and it goes towards the enemy with the lowest HP. So that can be good damage. That can help you clear a field, you know, kind of pick up the guys with less hit points. But yeah, we're just advancing through here. And then, yeah, Seimei, he's not an easy character to use, I would say. But among the characters that are kind of similarly not super easy to use, he's probably one of the best. Yeah, the strike shot is a little tricky to use, and then also time, but the bump combo is pretty easy to use, I would say, so that might be the main reason to use him for most people. The Seimei, I have him right now with 2 Able Berries. They are both kin strength. So now actually with the gauge, his attack is over 30,000. And then on top of that he can get Mines and then the Slayer. So he's looking pretty good right now as a direct attacker. I think ideally though I would like 1 kin strength and then 1 sidekick, just because his bump combos are so good. I am debating giving him a hero scroll, and I think that would be a good idea for him just because so many able berries are good for him. You can give him Survivor to stack with the elemental resistance. You could give him sidekick or kin strength, of course, to raise his attack. You could give him strike haste if you wanted to really speed up his poison strike shot. Okay, we successfully stalled there so that the heart could turn golden. And Doom is still kind of a difficult quest for me. I have to play through it, you know, every month to go through the sealed watchtower. And I always have trouble with his mission. Sometimes I do him first, just to get him out of the way. Sometimes I save him for last, so that I just, you know, procrastinate on that. And then I think it was yesterday, there was a new event announced. It's a Dream Charl event, where you, like, you know, play a quest many times. You collect those Charls, and then you pull the Dream Hatcher in order to get drops of like 3 different monsters. I might skip that. I would say the only max luck worth making is the one with Lilith and then Cholsen together, where they're shopping. They are a Pierce with null damage roll, null block, which is amazing because very, very few drop monsters have that double null ability and sling style combination. They're also light elements, so they can go to lots of quests. But Dream Shower events are always a lot of work. And then I also just finished the max luck of Magmel. So I have that Sling Style Double Null ability covered. So I might skip that, but we'll see, yeah. Okay, so first boss stage. Let's just go ahead and use a Seimei Strike Shot here. And then I'm going to aim for that robot in the right, just to see if the poison can reach that robot. So, no. Okay. Yeah, so same range as before, which is not too far. Less than half of the screen if you're looking up and down. And then with Naraku, we'll just kind of move up, try not to do too much damage. And there we go, 1.25 million damage to the boss. That's most of the gauge here. Alright, we'll get him with another round of the poison, and down, okay. Okay, so Seimei's bump combo is good enough to take down those two Aqua Dragons there. That was pretty cool. Alright, then here let's use Naraku's Strike Shot. It's a tackle plus Tribe Pulse. So very, very good damage there, especially if you can get it into the boss's weak point. And then we'll see how much of that carries over to the next stage. Okay, fair amount. Okay, so that was Seimei's bump combo again, taking down those two ability locks. And that's definitely what you want to do the first turn of this last stage, so that you keep all of your abilities for the rest of this fight. Alright, so there is Gabriel's poison attack. Not nearly as strong as Seimei's, but it does have some advantages, namely that she can move, and then also hit multiple characters. And that's another disadvantage that I forgot to mention, I think, about Seimei's bump combo, or strike shot. He can't move while he does it. So if you wanted to like pick up a heart or something, or you know, improve your positioning, that wouldn't be possible with Seimei's strike shot. Okay, I think we'll finish off the boss here with Dead Rabbits. Get that null damage wall. Alright. And that was Seimei. And then, yeah, in all, probably the longest character review I've ever done. But I'm very interested in this character. And I've been a fan of Seimei ever since I first pulled him way, way back in the global version. But yeah, he looks really interesting. So if you have him, definitely transcend him and then give him a try. Okay, thanks for watching and we'll see you again. Take care.